How's everyone doing? Woo! All right. So from a young age, I was fascinated by small things. It started with my dollhouse, and it grew into a love of jewelry, and I needed to make jewelry. So when I was 12 years old, I took my first metalsmithing class, where I learned to create small wearable sculptures with even smaller details. I actually went on to take metals classes in both college and in law school. Yes, I was the only lawyer in those classes. So every single one of my art school critiques had a similar theme. We'd start by looking at the pieces of whole, and then we would analyze the details. We talk about the solder seam, the choice of gemstone, that little tiny scratch. That little scratch. We would talk about that scratch for the entire time. And we talk about its meaning, its significance to the piece as a whole. Now, I know what you guys are thinking, because this is what we were thinking. That scratch was unintentional. It was the likely result of a brief encounter with a speck of dust. And honestly, except to a jeweler or maybe a professor, it was unnoticeable. But what I learned was it's a jeweler's job to pay attention to the little details, to make sure that everything is thought out, scratches and all. In law school, I also learned how to pay attention to details. I learned to read every single word in a contract, no matter how dull the contract was. I learned to make appropriate arguments to advocate on behalf of my client. After all, if you think about it, a legal dispute is ultimately won or lost because of a little tiny scratch, a little detail, hopefully not overlooked by your competent attorney. Now, I consider myself an intellectual property attorney. And so my favorite thing to do is talk about copyrights, trademarks, and patents. And I like to look at everyday objects for bigger ideas of these three things. So I'm going to talk to you guys about it today. And I could have dragged in a giant box of legal books, or I could have done some Law and Order argument. But instead, I want to talk about a ring pop, my favorite piece of candy. Thanks. So let's first start with copyrights, okay? I'm the boss. All right, so a copyright is a form of intellectual property protection grounded in the United States Constitution. Who here has heard of the Constitution? It's kind of a big idea. All right, so what does a copyright protect? It protects works of authorship, for example, literary works, musical works, artistic works, like the beautiful artistic works on the ring pop wrapper. And if you look closely at the wrapper, you will see a copyright notice right on the back. A C in the circle means copyright. But when you open the ring pop wrapper, which you should, because that's how you eat the ring pop, and you look at the ring pop itself, you will see a C in the circle and the word tops in raised writing right on that ring pop. Some lawyer got there. All right, so a ring pop has a copyright. But did you know it also has a trademark? Yes. A trademark is a word, phrase, symbol, or design that helps to identify a source of goods. For example, the word ring pop. Now, you can use a TM to signify trademark, but an R in the circle means registered trademark. It means that it's federally registered. And here's an example of a federally registered trademark, ring pop, in all its glory, taken from the United States Patent and Trademark Office website. So we've gone over copyrights and trademarks, and now we're up to patents. Yay! What is a patent? A patent is a form of intellectual property protection for inventions or discoveries. But in order to get this protection, your application has to meet patentability requirements of a country. Okay, so what meets the patentability requirements of the great country of the United States? This does. Combined candy and ring. It looks delicious. And it is. And it's expired. But guess what? There are 2 patents for the ring pop, and here's the second one. Ring having a metrics for candy. Take it in. How many lawyers were in a ring pop? I don't know. Take it all in. All right. So copyrights, trademarks, and patents all in a ring pop. How do you like that? All right, so this is a short talk. I can't get into the nuances of the law. But in life, just like in jewelry and in law, you have to pay attention to the details. And people say to me, Sarah, why are you always talking about ring pops? I'll tell you why. Ring pop helps to illustrate 6 of my favorite big ideas: copyrights, trademarks, patents, jewelry, and candy. I really like candy. I eat candy all the time. I'm hopped up on sugar all day long. But the 6th big idea comes from my loving husband, because on our wedding day, he put a ring pop on my finger. As I said before, it's the little things in life that matter and are often significant. Thank you very much. And I brought some ring pops.